Hey guys, I'm Amit Kumar and welcome to this video in which we are going to talk about string class methods. This is part 1. So string class is a class which actually have a collection of characters and we can create a string variable to hold these collection of characters. Today we are going to talk about some of the methods of string class. Most of the string class methods are basically instance methods. Hence, to use these methods, we need to create a string variable. The first method is abbreviate method, and this certain method has two different forms. In the first form, we actually specify only the maximum width, and in the second form, we specify maximum width along with offset. It actually returns an abbreviated version of a string, and rest of them will be replaced by ellipses. If we are using the second version, we can also specify the offset. So we can specify a specific index from where we want the abbreviated version. All the characters before that index will be replaced by ellipses, and after the maximum width, rest of the characters will also be replaced by ellipses. Capitalize. It returns the current string with the first letter changed to title case. Center. Center accepts a size and it also comes in two different variants. Center method is used to bring the current string into the center according to the size. Suppose the string contains only 5 characters and we mention 10 as the size. So it will take total space for 10 characters, bring those 5 characters in the center position and replace the rest of the 5 places in the beginning and at the end with spaces. When we use the second version of center, here we specify a string as well. So instead of those spaces, it is padded with those string. Compare to. Compare to method is used to compare two strings lexicographically. And when we say lexicographically, we means that in alphabetical order along with their length. A negative integer is returned with this method if the string calling the method precedes to the string passed as parameter. It returns a positive integer if the string that is calling the method succeeds the second string, and it returns 0 if both the strings are equal. Contains. Contains method returns true or false if the passed string contains in the string calling the method, then it returns true, otherwise it returns false. Contains any. Now this method returns true if the current string contains any of the characters specified in the passed parameter, otherwise it returns false. Contains ignore case. It is just like the contains method itself, but this will ignore the case while comparing the calling string and the passed string. Contains none. Returns true if the current string doesn't contain any of the character in the specified string, otherwise it returns false. Contains only. It returns true if the current string contains characters only from the specified sequence of characters and not any other character. Otherwise it will return false. Contains white space. Returns true if the current string contains any white space character, otherwise it will return false. And count matches returns the number of times the specified substring occurs in the current string. Delete white space. It returns a version of the current string with all the white space characters removed from it. Difference. It returns the difference between the current string and the specified string. So whatsoever string is different between the two strings, it's going to return that. Ends with. It returns true if the string that called the method ends with the specified suffix. Ends with ignore case is just like ends with method, but it actually ignored the case while comparing the two strings. Equals method compares the current string with the passed string, and it returns equals if they are exactly equal. That means the characters are exactly same, their cases should be exactly same. Equals ignore case returns true if the two strings are same even when their cases are different. Format method accepts two parameters. The first parameter is the string which is to be formatted. The second parameter is the list of strings that are to be kept at that format spaces. So the first argument is treated as a pattern and return a string using the second argument for substitution and formatting. From char array accepts a character array, and whenever we say character array, we actually mean integers, where those integer represents the ASCII code of the character. Now before we move on, let's understand what are ASCII codes. So guys, here you can see the ASCII codes. Actually all the characters are having a specific integer code. They are known as ASCII code, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So all the characters are having a specific integer value associated with it. Now we need not to focus on all of them, but let's see few interesting or few important one. For example, the numbers. So all the numbers starting from 0 to 9 have their corresponding ASCII code. For example, 0 is having an ASCII code of 48, 1 is having 49, and in the same order 9 is having an ASCII code of 57. If we talk about alphabets, the uppercase alphabet starts from A. So uppercase A has an ASCII code of 65, then B has an ASCII code of 66, and in the same order, capital Z or Z is having an ASCII code of 90. Similarly, lowercase characters starts from lowercase a, and that is having an ASCII code of 97. Then lowercase b is having 98, and in the same order, lowercase z is having 122. So these are the integers or ASCII codes used to represent these characters. Now, when we talk about from char array, we can specify those ASCII codes in form of an array, and it will return the corresponding string representing each character from their ASCII code. Now, getchars returns an array of character values or returns an array of ASCII codes that represents the character in the string. GetCommonPrefix returns the initial sequence of characters as a string that is common to all specified strings. So this specific method accepts a collection of string or a list of string and returns common prefix in all those elements of the list. IndexOf method returns the index of specified string, the first occurrence of the specified string in the string which is calling this method. The index of the first character of the string starts from 0 and moves on to the last character like that. If the specified substring is not part of the string, then this method returns -1. IndexOf, this is another version of the same method, but here it not only accepts a substring but also accepts an index. So when we use the IndexOf method with a substring, it starts checking the original string or the current string from the first index, that is from 0, and returns the index of the first occurrence of the substring. But if we call it with an index as well, like a substring along with an index, so instead of checking the current string from 0th index, it will start checking it from the specified index and returns the first occurrence of the substring. If that is not existing any further, or if that doesn't occur, then definitely it will return -1. IndexOf any. Now this also accepts a substring and returns the 0 base index of the first occurrence of any character specified in the substring. If none of the characters occurs, it returns -1. IndexOf any but substring. Now this returns 0 base index of the first occurrence of a character that is not in the specified substring. If it is there, it's going to return -1. IndexOf char. This specific method accepts an ASCII code and it returns the index of the character of that ASCII code in the current string. IndexOf char with character and starting index, it follows the same rule which we just seen for IndexOf substring with an index. So instead of searching from 0 index, it will start searching from start index. IndexOf difference string to compare. Now this returns the 0 base index of the character where the current string begins to differ from the specified string. IndexOf ignore case. It is just like the IndexOf method which returns the index of the substring in the current string, but while comparing it, it will not follow or it will not care about the case. IndexOf ignore case substring with a start position. It is just like IndexOf substring with a start position, just it will ignore the case while comparing it. So it's pretty much of talk. We have discussed about a lot of methods in string class in this part 1. The rest of the methods we will see in part 2, but now it's time to see the things practically. So guys, here we are on our developer console, and let's quickly create a class where we will see few methods of string. So guys, here is the class where I have created and I have used some of the string methods. So let's see what I have done here. So first of all, I created a string text, as this is a sample text in all lowercase. Then I created a text2 with Amit inside it. Now from here I have used the methods. So for this text one, I am calling the abbreviate, and I am calling abbreviate method with a max width of 10. Here I have abbreviated with 10, and then I have specified the starting index as 5. So it will start abbreviating from 5th index, that is from here. Now capitalize method, I have called this capitalize method on text1. So it will capitalize the first character and rest of the characters will be in the same case. Now this text2, I have called this center method on text2, and I have passed 10 as the size. So it will take space for 10 characters, keep these 4 characters in between, and the beginning and the end will have only spaces. The second center method will have those 10 character space, keep these 4 characters in between, and the beginning and the end will have this equal to for padding. Now I have called char@, method with 0 as the index. So what it's going to return? It's going to return the first character of this string. Now again I have created 2 more strings over here, T1 and T2. T1 is having ABCD, T2 is having ABCDE. Text, there is a text variable where I have kept next time, there won't be a next time. Now here you can see I have called T1.compare to T2, and here I have called T2.compare to T1. So it will compare lexicographically, and because T1 is smaller than T2, the first one will return a negative number, the second one will return a positive number, and that will be the difference between it. So there is a difference of 1 character, so it will return -1, it will return +1. And here the compare to is calling with ABCD, and T1 is having ABCD. So here it will return 0 because the passed string and the calling string are exactly same. Now here I have called the contains method. So it will check whether text1 contains a text in it. So you can see text is there, so it will return true. And it will check whether text1 contains Amit or not. So Amit is not part of text1, so this will return false. Now here I have called contains any. So if text1 contains any of these characters as A, E, I, O, U, any of them is there, so it's going to return true, and definitely it is there, so it's going to return true here. Contains ignore case. This time I have passed text, but I have passed text in uppercase. Though it is available in lowercase, but it will return true because it's going to ignore the case while comparing it. Contains only will check whether text1 contains only A, E, I, O, U or not, but there are other characters as well, so it's going to return false. Contains none will check whether A, E, I, O, U is not part of it, because A, E, I, O, U is part of it, that's why this method will return false. Contains white space will check whether text1 contains white space or not. So text1 is having white space, it's going to return true. And the same it will check on text2, but text2 is not having white space, so it will return false. Now I have called count matches with a next as parameter, so it will count how many times next is there in this text and will return the number of times next is present. So let's run this program and see the output. So guys, you can see the first 2 abbreviated forms. Here it is using ellipses. In the second version it is using ellipses starting from 5th index. Capitalize method make the first character capital. Center method bringing it into the center. Now actually when you are printing it in the logs, it is ignoring those white spaces. That's why you can't see white spaces over here, but it's definitely there. When you will double click on it, you can see those white spaces. Now in the second center, you can see it's bringing it in the middle and padding it with the equal to. Char@ method is returning the character at that specific index, but the character is printed in ASCII code. So it has printed 116 and it has printed 65. So 65 is for capital A and 116 is for T, lowercase t. compared to method in those three cases where I have mentioned you that it will return -1, 1 and 0. Here it is checking whether text1 contains text or not, whether text1 contains Amit or not, whether text1 contains vowel or not, whether text1 contains capital text, here we have used contains ignore case, whether text1 contains only vowels, so that is false, whether text1 doesn't contains vowels, that is also false, whether text1 contains white space, so it's true, text2 does not contain white space, hence it is printing false, and number of times next is there in text, so there are 2 times next is present in the text. So these were the first few methods. Let's create another class to see some more methods of string. So here is the next class where I have used some more methods. So before proceeding, let me tell you what are the string variables I have created. I have created 2 strings, T1 and T2, with text my name is Amit Kumar and my name is Sumit Yadav. Here I have used 2 string variables, name1 and name2, with value Amit, but the first one is in normal case, the second one is in uppercase. Now here I have created a template. Now whenever we create a template, we specify the pattern with help of curly braces and with values like 0, 1, 2. We always start it with 0. Now here I have created 2 string arrays whose value I will replace to this template. So the 0th index of this string array will take place over here at the 0th position, 1 will take place at the 1 position, and the value at the second place will take place the 2 position. Here I have created a list of integer and I have specified 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, which is nothing but ASCII code of capital A, B, C, D, E and F. Now I am calling those string methods over here. So you can see I am calling delete white space on T1. So it's going to remove all the white spaces from T1. Here I am calling T1.difference T2, so it's going to print the difference between them. Sumit Yadav is different from Amit Kumar, so it's going to return Sumit Yadav here. If I would have called it as T2.difference T1, then Amit Kumar would be returned. Here I am calling T1.ends with Kumar, so it's going to return true because T1 is ending with Kumar. Here I have called T2.ends with Kumar, but that is going to return false because T2 is not ending with Kumar. Here I am again calling T1.ends with, but this time Kumar is specified in uppercase, so definitely it's going to return false over here. But in the next version, I have called ends with ignore case. So it's going to ignore the case and going to return true. Name1 dot equals name2 is going to return false as their cases are different. But when I will call equals ignore case, it's going to return true because it's going to ignore the case over here. Now here you can see I have called the format method. So I have specified this template and first time I have passed array 1. So it's going to print my name is Amit Kumar. I am living in Hyderabad, India. And in second version, it's going to call my name is Ihab Abdulaziz. I am living in Toronto, Canada. String from list of integers. Here I have called from char array and I have passed this list of integers containing the ASCII code. It's going to return A, B, C, D, E, F as a string. And when I call name2.getChars, it's going to return the ASCII code of A, M, I, T. So now let's quickly run this program and see the output. So guys, you can see here all the white spaces are removed. Here you can see the difference is printed at Sumit Yadav. Here you can see whether T1 is ending with Kumar or not is returning true. Here T2 is returning false. For T1, when I specified Kumar in uppercase and called ends with only, it's going to return false. But when I called ends with ignore case, it's going to return true. Amit equals Amit, definitely it's going to return false, but when equals ignore case is called, it's going to return true. Here the template is replaced with those values of the array. You can see that. Here it is printing the string of those ASCII characters and here it is printing the ASCII code of that string. Now let's guys see one more program where we will see some more methods of string class. So guys, here is the program where I have created few string variables, integer variables and called some methods of string class. So you can see first of all I created a list of string containing with name designations containing software developer, software trainer, software engineer as list values. Created a text containing she sells seashells on the seashore. Now I have created 3 index variable, index 1, index 2, index 3 and here I have called index of method. So the first index of method accepts only a string. So it is going to return the index, the first occurrence of this C the index of first occurrence of this C, which is here. So it's going to return the index of it, which will be 10, and that 10 will be kept in index 1. I have called again the index of method, and this time I have passed in the index 1, that is 10 plus 1, 11. So it's going to check C starting from 11th index. So that will be this one. So the index of this C, or the index of this S I should say, will be kept in index 2. And then I have called index of one more time, pass C one more time, and pass index 2 plus 1, which is going to check this C in this string after this position. And there is no C after that. So definitely index 3 will be minus 1. Now I have called index of char as well, and this time I am calling on text. So this is the text, and I have passed 101, which is nothing but ASCII code of small e, or e in lowercase. So it's going to return the index of e, and similar to what I have done here, I am calling index of char again, and this time I am passing the previous index plus 1, you can see. So first index of e will be kept in in1, and then I am checking the next index of e in in1 plus 1. And that I am repeating for at least 8 times, because there are that many e's over here. I have created two string variables, t1 and t2. t1 is having a, b, c, d, e. t2 is having a, b, g, d, e. You can see they are almost same except for this position. Now here I have called all those methods and value of these indexes. So you can see, first of all, I called get common prefix, where I have passed the designations. So it will return the common prefix of these three, which is nothing but software. Now here I have printed index 1, index 2 and index 3, these three indexes. Then I called index of any and passed hello. So it will check any of the character from hello. If it is present over here, it will return index of that character. In the second version, index of any but, so it will check the string for any character other than the characters present in hello and return the index of that. So you can see when we are checking hello, H is present over here, so it's going to return this character, which is 1. And when we are checking hello for index of any but, so S is not present here in hello. So definitely it's going to return the index of S. Here I have printed the value of in1 to in8. That is index of e in text, different indexes of e in text. And finally I have called the index of difference on t1 and t2, and it's going to return the index of difference, which is this. This is the 0, 1, 2, second index. So it will return 2. That means 2 is the index where these two strings are differing. I haven't called index of ignore case method because it is just like index of method ignoring the case. So now let's quickly run this program and see the output. So guys, here you can see the common prefix is software. The first index of C is 10th index. The second index of C is 27th index, and then after there was no C, hence the index is -1. Index of any character from hello is 1, because I told you H is present over there at 1 index. And index of any character but from hello is 0, because S was present over there at 0 index. Now here I have printed different indexes of E in that text, which is 2, 5, 11, 15, 25, 28, 34 and then -1. And finally the index of difference in T1 and T2 is 2. So guys, that marks the end of this video. See you soon in the next video. Till then, thank you and take care.